Today we're taking chicken on an herbal adventure, crusting it in fresh herbs and smoking it to juicy perfection. Welcome back, it's Mike C with HLM BBQ. I don't know what it is about herb-crusted chicken, but it makes me feel like I'm going on a mythical adventure to Middle Earth, breaking bread and guzzling horns of ale with hobbits. I encourage you to use fresh herbs, but they aren't available for everybody, so you could use dry herbs as long as you're wearing a gown of ethereal fabrics. Alright, get in the mood with me. The herbs we're using are what we had around. I did buy this weird yellow spotted parsley from the grocery store. Does anyone know what these yellow spots are? They're kind of weird looking, but it didn't impact the flavor at all. You don't need a huge variety of herbs, and we have them available, so we went a little bit crazy. You saw we had garlic. This is fresh rosemary, which is very popular during the holidays. We also have lemon thyme, though you could use regular thyme. And then lastly, we're breaking into oregano. I've been lazy and let the oregano go to flower, but there are still plenty of usable leaves at the bottom. Let's remove the leaves from the stem. Using your thumb, index, and middle finger, gently slide your hand down the stem, removing the leaves. Then I like to roll them into a tiny ball and give them a fine mince. A big chunk of oregano can be a little overpowering, so make sure that it's all chopped up. We love oregano. It's pungent, it's earthy, it's a classic herb that carries a little bit of sweetness as well. And next we're going to use rosemary. I would describe it as piney, peppery, slightly woody, but in a good way. And gently pick the rosemary leaves from the stem and make a nice pile. And again, we're going to mince this up very fine, roughly the same size as the oregano. If you're using dry herbs, add all of them to a mortar and pestle and just pestle them to smithereens. We want to get everything roughly the same size. Next, we wanted something a little brighter, so we used lemon thyme. It's earthy like English thyme, but with a lemon aroma and a subtle flavor. Our thyme was really tiny, so let's just say we didn't have a lot of time. Next, we want the body of the herb crust, and that's where we rely on Italian flat leaf parsley. It has amazing flavor, it's bright, it's happy, it's got great color, it plays well with others, it's a super chill herb with lots of friends. It's so cool. Now let's move on to the garlic. Use as much as you want. You have to go with your heart. I'm using 3 cloves of garlic, which felt like enough, but honestly, I probably could have doubled it. Next, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of back rub all-purpose seasoning. That's our seasoning. It contains salt, pepper, paprika, orange peel, turmeric, chili powder, and a bunch of other good stuff that makes this chicken extra mythical. And then add about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, more or less. We want to make it like a loose paste, but not so much olive oil that it's soupy. Just kind of look at how I mix it up here, and that'll help. Obviously, I added some more olive oil to get the coverage on the chicken. It's just a perfect herbal paste, almost like a salve for barbecue ailments. And once you get this well mixed, reserve about 3 tablespoons in another container. We don't want to contaminate it. For the chicken, you could use any cut. We went with chicken breast halves because they're still attached to the bone and they're ridiculously cheap, which is perfect for our budget. Peel the skin back off the breast and remove any extra stringy bits. We're going to use the skin as a protective coating while they smoke so that the herbs don't get bitter in the smoke sauna. Once the skin is pulled back, take the herb mixture and gently rub it into the chicken breast. Welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time, thank you for showing up. If you like nerding out on herbs and barbecue meats, then please subscribe to our channel. I know it might not seem like much, but it really does show us that you care and that you like what we're doing. Then, gently slide the skin back over the breast to create a protective coating, and it's that simple. You want to repeat this process for the rest of the chicken. You can see the color popping on here. The smell is already amazing. Obviously, you can't eat it because we haven't cooked it yet, but you could use this herb mixture to coat a prime rib if you wanted to, or use it as a finishing sauce at the end of the dish, which that's why we reserve those 3 tablespoons at towards the middle of the video here. So once you get the skins back on, you want to let them rest for a little bit, about 30 minutes before you put it on the smoker. Now this is something you could prep ahead. The night before, chop up your herbs, get everything on, get the herb mixture slathered all over the chicken, and then the next day, about an hour before you're going to smoke them, pop them out of the fridge. Today we're smoking on a 2012 Traeger. It's our old Traeger. We love this thing, and we're going to go to about 275 degrees Fahrenheit and take a look at these breasts. Also, the chicken looks pretty good too. I hope you enjoyed my little herbal headdress that I'm wearing here. Next step is simple. Slap the chicken on the middle of the grill, give them a little pat down to make sure that it's all stuck on there nice and the skin looks pretty good. Again, the skin is going to be more so as a protective coating from the smoke, as we don't want the herbs to get bitter, which can sometimes happen when smoking herbs, if you know what I mean. Now, these are going to cook in about 2 hours for us at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. You just want to make sure that it's 170 degrees internal temp. again, in Fahrenheit. 2 hours later, it's looking great. And now you've got a couple options here. For the skin, it's a little bit chewy. So you can take the chicken off about an hour into it and wrap it in foil with butter so that you can tenderize the skin. You could also grill the skin off or just take a torch to it to get it extra crispy. Honestly, we're not too worried about eating the skin today. We want to get straight to the meat with the herbs and just take a look. I mean, the color on this, it looks incredible. The smell is incredible. The smoke is rolling. The herbs are just, it's so fragrant. You're going to want to eat it immediately, but you can't. You got to wait like 30 minutes so the juices can redistribute, which is totally fine. And that's a good rule of thumb, at least 15 minutes. We have the bone on the back of the chicken breast, and I honestly have no idea how to butcher this, so I probably look like an idiot right now. And if anyone knows what they're doing, feel free to let me know how to do this better, or just tell me I'm doing it wrong in the comments below, because that's always super helpful. After about 20 minutes of trying to cut the bone off, you'll have the bone removed from the breast, and then it's time to slice up the chicken. Alternatively, you could just get the chicken breast without the bone attached, but budget-wise, it made sense, and we didn't waste a lot of meat getting the bone off the back. You could use the bone and take it and make a chicken stock out of it if you felt so inclined to do so. Now you're at the point where you can just simply slice up the chicken and get ready to serve. But we want to boost this flavor up even more by adding that herby olive oil mixture that we set aside earlier. Make sure that it hasn't been contaminated by the raw chicken. The chicken is so juicy and the aroma is something out of a fantasy book. There's a kiss of smoke, but the star of the show is the herbs. The garlic, thyme, oregano, and rosemary really come through, but just enough where it's not overpowering. And just look at this, the herbs really penetrated with flavor, and having a little bit extra at the end took the flavor to the next level. The recipe is so easy and the chicken turned out so good. Though I'm sure any herb mixture would work, this mixture turned out perfect in our opinion. I can't find my dog because I was going to give him a little bit of chicken, but you snooze, you lose. Next week, we're dropping a chicken pot pie soup because we jacked up the chicken pot pie guts and turned it into soup, and it's one of the happiest mistakes I've ever made. Thanks again for showing up. Now get out and barbecue. We'll see you in 1 week.